In an interview with the current president of African Development Bank, Akinwumi Adesina, the interview was done by a journalist from Punch newspaper, Oyetunji Abioye. He conducted the interview. Akinwumi Adesina is profiling a solution to the present economic situation in Nigeria. As an economist, as the president of the African Development Bank, is more than qualified to tell us what to do and put us in the right path. I think we should listen more to Akinwumi Adesina than to even listen to the IMF. According to him, he said the economy of Nigeria cannot be sustained at this current level of naira, when the naira is almost 2,000 naira to a dollar. He says it is not possible to sustain the economy. There will be no good productive activity in the nation. He said pursuing a path to increase the value of the naira is not the issue. He said because that will be too much a task, and it may almost technically be impossible to do it, because the excess naira that are in the hands of the people have not even been totally brought out, and we can see how low the naira has fallen. His solution is that we should pursue an export-oriented economy. What we are trying to do in Nigeria now is import substitution. Import substitution is a mark of failure. Many former governments of Nigeria try to pursue it. The government of Obasanjo, who ruled for 8 years, and he was a former military president, they try to pursue import substitution. Import substitution does not work because there's no economy of scale. When you are pursuing import substitution, it tells you that it portends that you have to go and look for dollars from elsewhere. And once you face import substitution, you will so concentrate on it that you will almost cut off source of dollar. So Adesina is now suggesting that we should be export-oriented. And when you look at the truth in what he's saying, this is exactly what Japan did. And this is what China is doing now. And of course, South Korea, all the developed nations, their currency, all the exporting nation of Asia, they deliberately devalue their currency so that they can get more dollars in the international market when they export their goods. Somebody may say, we don't have enough to eat. Why should we export? Now, if production is not at a maximum, the producers cannot gain. They cannot produce on a large scale. If, for example, there's a market outside Nigeria, you see, you discover that the interest of the people will be to produce more, to sell more, so that the dollars can come in. And it's only when dollars are coming in that the naira can gain its value. Right now, the country does not have anywhere to get dollars. All that the central bank governor is doing is trying to borrow money, which on the long run will destroy the economy further. Because if you borrow this money, if you borrow the dollar from IMF or any other country, or in an open market operation, you must pay it back. And when you are going to pay it back, where are the dollars you are going to pay back? So export substitution is very good. Now, as an example, you wouldn't tell me that everybody in China drives a car, but they are trying to export cars. They are exporting cars. You know, you don't have to have the consumption. You reduce your consumption to earn the dollars. That is the only way we can stand. If we don't pursue what Adesina is suggesting, we discover that we will not be able to provide a solution to what is happening in Nigeria. Many former presidents tried to 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 do import substitution, but it didn't work. There are many countries that are exporting agri products, which is already going on big now in Nigeria. Agri product is a major export uh, item in Nigeria now. Like last year, Netherlands exported products, agri products worth 90 billion US dollars. 90 billion US dollar worth of export of agri products. Then another country that have done well in agri export is New Zealand. New Zealand exported about 53 billion dollars. So we must pursue it. A country like Bangladesh, as an example, they export garments. They export garments and apparel. Last year, they exported 47 billion dollars. These are countries that don't even have resources. And we have found out technically that many of the African countries, because they have resources, they have become poor because they rely only on the export of mineral. That's what has happened to almost all the oil producing countries. All the countries in Africa that have minerals, they try to export only mineral and get money back. And this has not been able to spread the benefit to the ordinary man in the street. Now we have cocoa exports. What happened to our cocoa? What has happened to cocoa? Nobody can explain it. Everybody wants to come to the township. Everybody wants to work in the bank, wants to be neat. And we forgot cocoa. These are the kind of agri products that can change the nation. There needs to be a massive investment in cocoa and the palm oil. We have so much land area to plant agricultural products, but this is not happening. This must be a deliberate policy. Other farm in Imo State that is the biggest palm oil plantation in Nigeria is an old palm oil plantation. We can produce 10 times that size of plantation. Malaysia today is exporting so much palm oil. Nigeria does not even match Malaysia. So what happened to the palm oil industry? And we have so much forest reserves that have not been used. So massive investment in cocoa, massive investment in palm oil. This is what we get to the grassroots. When you invest in this, because these are people oriented. You know, this one we be able to mobilize the whole population. Unlike oil production, how many people does Shell employ? How many people does NNPC employ? Shell and NNPC together is no more than 20,000 people that they employ. But cocoa, palm oil, this will employ millions of Nigerians. And Nigerians will have so much and there will be so much export. Now, talk about the cows. The cows in Nigeria today are operating 200 years back. There's nowhere in the developed country where you have to move cattle from one place to the other place and move cattle to the extent that there's clash between farmer and there's killing here and there. This is primitive. You see, cattle ranches can be established. All the cows in Nigeria, they can be taken care of in just one state. Just one state of the country can feed all the cows, and then they can find ways to increase their milk production. It will interest you to know that the average Nigerian cow does not produce more than 3 liters of milk a day. But somewhere like in Denmark, in Holland, and some other places, one cow can produce 50 liters of milk a day. 50 liters. Because these cows, they move about from place to place, are not properly fed, they cannot produce enough milk. Only the milk export of Denmark is more than our petroleum export. Only the milk export of Holland is more than our oil export. Only the milk export of New Zealand is more than our oil export. So what are we doing? We are talking about reducing or trying to see how farmer and herdsmen clashes can be reduced. The simple thing is that the government should massively invest in milk production, massively. All this one that the Fulani are wandering all over the country, if there were permanent places that have been set up because of the incentive, the production ability, they will not mind. You will discover that everybody will flock there if the government had that kind of condition. So we have everything to make us great. We have cocoa. Let's go back to cocoa. Let's give the farmer seedling, fertilizer, whatever it is to make the cocoa come back. Let's present Bola Tinubu do it. For palm oil, let the president do it again. There's enough forest to plant enough palm oil to make it to export $100 billion export of palm oil every year. And the interesting thing is that this system, this like the palm oil, the byproducts of the palm oil are even used in feeding in a cattle feed, used in a poultry feed. So you can see the synergy that is in this kind of investing in palm oil. And then, of course, we are talking also about milk production, the cows, and every other thing. There should be these three products are enough to make Nigeria great. These three products are enough to make the naira come back again. These three products are enough to engage all Nigerians that there will be no form of unemployment. You know, when there's a healthy economy, there's no problem. Agitations are reduced. So I appeal to the government to follow the suggestions of the current president of African Development Bank, Akinwumi Adesina. This was reported in the Punch newspaper by Oyetunji Abioye. Let us go back to the basics. And the country, you will see how easy the country is. Once the government can allocate nothing less than about maybe cocoa, allocate about 3 trillion naira, palm oil 3 trillion naira, then the cow about 3 trillion naira, you will see how the economy will bubble again. Please, we are on Hi-Fi Television and we are on Facebook, we are on TikTok.